Biophony is one of three possible sonic components of a soundscape next to geophony and anthropophony. The biophony refers to the collective acoustic signatures generated by all sound-producing organisms in a given habitat at a given moment. It includes vocalizations that are used for conspecific
communication in some case, communication in some case, communication in some case, communication in some case, communication in some cases Krauss. The delocalization of contemporary sound. For the possibility to shout, for the possibility to shout, for the possibility to share, blend and rearrange loud for the possibility to share, blend and rearrange loud for the possibility to share, blend and rearrange sonic geography. Niccoli, 2020.
culture. Fantasizing youth is a straight culture. Fantasizing youth is a straight culture. Linear time is a construct from which queers are exempt. Queer time is non-linear, disjointed, ambiguous, recursive. Queer time opposes heteronormative time, which is based on a reproductive time, which oscillates between a binary of youth and adulthood. Colonial time, in which white Western societies live in an illusion that they are advanced and all others are backward in time. Capitalist time, which is a heteronormative time plus its time is money, so you'd better hurry up, wipe your shitter. Or take ketamine, because sensuality develops in slowness. As an anesthetic for horses and elephants has become the signature drug of the genre, encompassing the paradoxical needs of disembodiment and embodiment at the same time, feeding the hunger for spiritual and sensual encounter in a time of social, physical, and erotic body erosion.
neurophysiologists have hypothesized that the vocal vibration associated with human use of language cause a kind of cleansing of the cerebrospinal fluid. It has been observed that vibrations can precipitate and concentrate small molecules in the spinal fluid, which bathes and continuously purifies the brain. Our ancestors may have, consciously or unconsciously, discovered that the vocal sound cleared the chemical cobwebs out of their heads. Opening square bracket ellipsis closing square bracket. A self-regulated process as simple as singing might well have positive adaptive advantages if it also made the removal of chemical waste from the brain more efficient. The following excerpt supports this provocative idea. Vibrations of human skull, as produced by loud vocalization, exert a massaging effect on the brain and facilitate elution of metabolic products from the brain into the cerebrospinal fluid.
doesn't own trance music. Spiritual music doesn't equivalent religious music. Judeo-Christianism noticed the trance power of spiritual music cultivated by indigenous communities, appropriated it and erased the knowledge and legacy connected to invisible, audible and ephemeric, following the study of Devi 2019. In her frequential philosophy, Devi draws focus on neoliberal capitalism armed with all of that information, which in the result pollutes and untunes the earth with parasite frequencies coming from devices rooted in consumers' products. She reaches the conclusion that we are living in constant state of mind control and enslavement under vibrations that keep us pacified and asleep. They're coming from our phones, fridges, advertisements and the wholesome entertainment system to which music is enslaved to.
there in that track. the box into which I put all of us, and just seeing those images, and those with the eyes mainly, and hearing those sounds again, but sounds of you, and paradoxically sounds of you laughing and giggling in your way, not diegetic sounds of the track, would just simply break my heart again. But then there is some perfume quality about the sound that one will feel the sensation smelling it in the beginning, but then eventually will get used to it without recognizing. Now that track doesn't smell like you to me, but it is not undeniable that in few years from now I will bump into that track, like I bumped into Lil Louis' French kiss, and it will teleport me to that time when I was sitting there by the lake and waiting for who knows who, because I never saw you before, but it wasn't a date, you were actually a friend of my friend, and she connected us because I just moved in and you were there, and I was going through some low moments, and that you were supposed to know the shaman, but I wasn't sure. Well, I thought maybe it's better to meet with her friend before I meet the shaman, but from the beginning I was kind of skeptical. But in those circumstances I felt like I needed healing desperately, so I met with you without knowing nothing about you beside your name, and I arrived to the place, that cafe by the lake you chose, and it was pretty busy, but I knew you're not there, so I sat on the bench, and I was looking at people around, and I felt you're none of them, like 100% sure. So I was waiting, but it was a really nice Sunday in summer, middle of the day, 13 o'clock, but I was burning a real fire within, and I was sitting there on that bench, and I was waiting for my medicine to arrive, and suddenly I heard the voice over my head. I raised my eyes and saw your eyes, and all my problems disappeared. Water I see in water running down the street in a heavy rain. I sit and stare and try to understand what water means to you. What do you look for in the water pouring down the floor? I see memories. I always see memories in the water. That time it felt like the things I was looking for in you I found in water. The amount of the information encoded in that sound drew me somewhere far away in time when you were all there in